9th, frustrations continue over road construction on Dutney Avenue. A former Regina police officer pleads guilty to breach of trust. Get ready to welcome Creed in Craven.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Ring Road, 12th Avenue, both construction projects in Regina that have caused frustration for motorists. But it's the Dutney Avenue project that has some wondering if it'll ever be completed. Sierra D'Souza Butts tells us how some local businesses are feeling dealing with months of construction.
For 4 years, Rooted Living Designs has made Dutney Avenue their home. However, with the street being closed for the past 7 months due to the Dutney Avenue Corridor Revitalization Project, the owner says traffic has been challenging.
We definitely see an impact with the Dutney construction and its delay. We have to push every single day to try to get people through our doors.
It's all part of a 2-year project by the City of Regina, focusing on replacing aging underground infrastructure along with revitalizing the landscape between Albert and Broad. Although Holloway says communication with the city has been consistent, he is still uncertain when it will reopen.
We were told it was going to be ahead of schedule in September. End of September it was going to be done. Then we were told end of October. Now we're being told end of November. So we're hoping that by the end of November or before the snow hits that it is open.
Another business down the street says it's hopeful the project will be complete by the end of the month.
The work on Dutney Avenue is necessary in order to facilitate the development of the rail yards area across the street. And right now we're just doing the finishing touches. We can see the traffic lights are going in. There's still some work to be done on CN Rail with the train crossing just down the street. So the city says it should be ready to go by the end of this month, so we can't wait.
In the meantime, businesses like Holloway's patiently wait until the once busy street is bustling with traffic again.
We're very excited. We signed another 5-year lease here, so we won't be going anywhere. We're very excited to see what the future brings for the Dutney.
CTV News has reached out to the City of Regina for an update on the project, but said they aren't able to give us a response today. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatchewan is rolling out tax incentives to attract investment in food, beverage, and equipment manufacturing. It will help small and medium-sized companies find the money that's needed for expansion. Wayne Mantika has the details.
Saskatchewan craft brewers are among businesses that could benefit from a new government incentive program. Generous tax credits are being offered to investors willing to take a chance on small and medium-sized manufacturers.
So it's a 45% tax credit that they would get annually. It's non-refundable, so that means that when that tax credit, if they're not in an income positive position, they don't get a check written to them. But it is a significant tax credit for anybody willing to make that investment.
Regina's Pile of Bones Brewing Company employs 40 workers. It says attracting investment dollars for expansion can be challenging.
It would have been really good when we were building this place. We had to raise a lot of money. We kind of did it the old way, and we got through it, and very happy we did. But it's very encouraging to see a program like this come out.
The tax credit will go to the investor, not the business. It's aimed at raising capital for manufacturers that have between 5 and 50 employees. Saskatoon's 9 Mile Legacy Brewing is interested.
We intend to use it. We intend to raise money, and we intend to grow. And I think what it does is it unlocks a key barrier in the scale journey of a business, that being fueling working capital and market presence. So we're very excited.
The government expects the program will encourage investment at home, enabling companies to purchase new equipment, upgrade facilities, and create jobs for Saskatchewan people. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A Regina police officer charged with breach of trust and unauthorized use of a computer has pleaded guilty to the charges. Sergeant Robert Semenchuk was charged back in March, accused of using an internal database to pursue what police called personal and intimate relationships. Semenchuk was suspended with pay when the allegations were brought forward in 2023. On Friday in a Regina courtroom, Semenchuk entered a guilty plea to both charges. He'll be back in court for sentencing in January. Well, Highway 2, about 10 kilometers north of Moose Jaw, was closed for several hours after what RCMP described as a serious collision. Detours were in place, with motorists told to expect delays. No other details have been released. And westbound traffic on the Trans-Canada Highway near Chaplin was restricted to one lane for several hours after a semi-rollover. The incident happened around 5 o'clock this morning, involving a semi that was towing two trailers. The driver and a passenger in the semi did report non-life-threatening injuries, but they did not need treatment at the scene. Health officials are learning more about a batch of drugs that could be leading to a string of overdoses in Regina. This pink substance was tested at Regina's Neo-Yatina Friendship Center, found to contain a concerning concentration of fentanyl and benzodiazepines. It's not confirmed that the substance is the cause of the increase in overdoses, but Regina Fire and Protective Services say multiple doses of naloxone and hospital intervention have been necessary in some of the overdose cases this week. Well, back in March, Saskatchewan signed on to the federal school food program, and as Keenan Sorokon reports, a few months into the school year, people in the education sector say it's paying off, with hopes the program continues for years to come.
This is a black bean pizza, and the kids here love this.
The federal and provincial governments are hoping lunches like this will continue for years to come. As part of the National School Food Program the province signed on to earlier this year, the goal is to now make the program permanent.
All the other challenges that the staff and the educators in the school division have to grapple with, this is just one less problem that we wanted to assist in this regard.
The province signed a 3-year, $15.8 million deal in March. More than $6 million is being distributed this year, with educators knowing affordability and food security are growing concerns, with more people struggling to send kids to school with a lunch.
They're well taken care of, their bellies will be full, and they will learn. And so that just takes that one level of pressure off.
Saskatoon Public Schools will now be able to feed students at 30 schools in the city. The funding will also help bring dozens of programs under one roof to streamline operations, save money, and ensure meals are meeting nutritional needs.
Whether you're in a city or rural, regardless of your neighborhood, regardless of how it might appear or what your status, food insecurity is affecting a number of our students.
The Liberals are pledging to make the program permanent, with more than $200 million of annual funding beginning in 2029. Until then, this money will help families and students stay fed in the classroom.
That's going to help them grow. It's going to help them feed them so they want to be at school, that they can concentrate on learning, and they can be their best.
Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A new initiative at the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital hopes to prioritize patient choice, nutrition, and healing. Ready, Set, Eat is a program where meals are prepared to meet seasonal and cultural food preferences, delivered to patients when they're ready to eat rather than at fixed times. More than $554,000 is being provided by the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation in partnership with the Thistledown Foundation. The SHA says the program will support patient nutrition, comfort, and recovery.
We know that patients who eat less than half of their meals are at greater risk of malnutrition, which can delay healing and extend their hospital stay. Good food delivered at the right time is part of good care. This program reflects the Saskatchewan Health Authority's vision of healthy people, healthy Saskatchewan.
Will says the program officially started, back in October. Sabine joins us for our first look at weather and gives us some decent news considering it's late November for what we're going to see on the weekend.
Yeah, it's looking like we're going to see a nice above seasonal weekend with lots of sunshine. And then there's a change on the way, and I'll talk more about that coming up in your forecast. But even today, here in Regina, we warmed up to about 6 degrees late this afternoon. Did have the sun shining, and that will continue into this weekend. Now, we do have some freezing rain warnings issued for northern Saskatchewan, and it does look like it's is starting to just move the way the system is moving into Manitoba. Now, we could expect to see some freezing rain in those areas, including Prince Albert, around the Saskatoon area, late this evening before we start to see that freezing rain taper off. But nothing really expected for southern Saskatchewan. And even currently looking at our temperatures, we're still sitting above zero. Weyburn at 7 degrees right now, Maple Creek at 9. Now, the average to compare, usually about -2. And like I said, we got up to 6 degrees, and that should continue this weekend. But I'll have details coming up for you. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. It's a must-see event for any country music fan, Country Thunder in Craven. Now, although for the past few years, we have seen organizers with mixing in a bit of a rock group to perform. And as Mick Favel tells us, this year's lineup will include a CMA Entertainer of the Year and a Turn of the Millennium rock band.
The lineup for Country Thunder Saskatchewan 2026 is now official. Like the previous 2 years, one of the headlining acts will come from outside the country genre. Chart topper Riley Green, Grammy Award-winning country star Lainey Wilson, and post-grunge rock group Creed will be the music festival closers. Organizers say Country Thunder is expanding, now including more musical tastes.
We have now found a way that we're going to try to have something for everybody. So it's just not a country music festival anymore. It's a music festival. We need to address more fans in a more broader way of enjoying music as a whole.
Since its inception, Country Thunder has annually been one of Saskatchewan's biggest events, bringing in business to a number of areas, including the Queen City. Those at the City of Regina are behind the idea of expanding the lineup.
I think it's great. I think that a diverse lineup appeals to more of an audience, more diverse audience. And so, I think the professionals are getting it right. They're making sure that they're appealing to a wide range of folks, and excited to see the lineup myself.
News of the headliners is already gaining traction with music fans.
That's going to be an insane festival. Honestly, I think I might have to look at tickets on here in that one. But honestly, with Riley.
Great. I've never been to Craven myself, but I'd get tickets in a heartbeat.
During the 2025 edition of the festival, overall attendance was down from the previous year, but they're hoping the lineup shakeup will take that number higher.
We have a lineup now that we've never had before, and we've never ever spent the money we're spending on the lineup that we have this year ever. So I think it's going to be great.
Despite the departure from country, organizers hope Saskatchewan music fans will welcome Creed to the stage. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Yeah, we've been singing Creed all day in the newsroom. Just happens. Back in 1991, Canada joined a UN treaty that defines and protects the rights of children. Now, today, several groups in Yorkton came together to honor those rights, celebrating National Child Day. Regina Declute has more.
34 years ago, Canada joined the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, a commitment to ensure that all children are treated with dignity and respect.
It's all about the different rights of the child around non-discrimination and providing safe space and the right to join groups and to be part of and to know their responsibility as a child.
To celebrate National Child Day, organizations in Yorkton are organizing a fun but important event.
So for example, we have Big Brothers Big Sisters, we have Shawan House, we have the Fire Department, we have Yorkton Indigenous Friendship Center, and many others.
At each station, 5th graders have 6 minutes to learn about their rights and responsibilities.
There's some that are really interactive, where they're playing a game, tossing a ball back and forth. There's others where they get to draw, where they get to make some beading, where they get to do different activities, and others that are for those that are more an auditory learner.
Over 200 students from 7 elementary schools are taking part.
They come with their own unique gifts and being able to feel that they have every right with their language and their culture and whatever background that they come from, that they have those equal rights.
This is the 30th National Child Day celebration in Yorkton, teaching generations of children.
Children's free to do what they want and be able to learn about other people's nationalities and other things and make new friends.
You should always be kind no matter where you are, and to always know that you're loved and respected.
amplifying even the smallest of voices in an effort to make a big difference. Regina Nov, CTV News, Yorkton.
2 young entrepreneurs were recognized in Yorkton this morning. The province's Young Entrepreneur Bursary Program is funded by the Ministry of Trade and Export Development to support new and growing businesses. Among the 57 recipients of the bursary are 2 Yorkton area entrepreneurs, Kaylee Miller and Curtis Decker. They were both presented with a $5,000 bursary check by the Yorkton Chamber of Commerce. They'll help their business grow, and the program will also provide Miller and Decker with exclusive mentoring workshops and networking opportunities. Decker is in the asphalt and construction business in Yorkton, while Miller runs a consultancy in Langenburg.
The $5,000 will allow my business specifically to purchase some different assessments and tools and sensory materials that I'll be able to use in our clinic to work directly with the kiddos and the families.
Well, no. Decker said he will invest his bursary into expanding safety measures and marketing. Nominations now open for the Regina Citizen of the Year presented by CTV. The award is given every year to an individual who exemplifies excellence in community service. And to find out how to nominate someone, guides are available on our website. The deadline to submit your nomination is Friday, December 5th. So basically, we only got a couple weeks left. We will announce the winner on New Year's Eve. Still ahead, a school group on a field trip was attacked by a grizzly bear in BC. And how successful was the Prime Minister's trade trip to the United Arab Emirates? A grizzly bear attack on a school group in a remote BC community of Bella Coola has left several people hospitalized, including 2 reported to be in critical condition. CTV's Scott Hurst has the details.
It is a terrifying attack that has left a small BC community on edge. A grizzly bear attack injuring multiple students and at least 1 teacher. Of the 4 injured in the bear attack, 3 are children, 1 is an adult. Another 7 people were cared for at the scene. At the time of the attack, the students and the teachers, approximately 20 of them, were having lunch along a trail by the river in the remote community on BC's central coast when the grizzly apparently emerged from the forest and attacked. What prompted the bear to charge the group is not yet known at this time. According to the BC Conservation Officer Service, multiple teachers intervened. They used pepper spray and a bear banger to stop the attack and get the grizzly away from the students. The injured were initially treated in the community, but are being transported to Vancouver for further care. A spokesperson for the local school district told CTV News the attack involved an independent school run by the Newhalk First Nation. Conservation officers tried to locate the grizzly overnight, but no luck in tracking it down as of yet. Preliminary information suggests the bear may have been previously injured. Efforts to capture and assess the bear are continuing today.
Captured mitigation techniques have been set to capture and evaluate the bear in question. We recognize this incident is distressing for the community. We are in close contact with the Newhalk Nation as our investigation continues.
Today in the community, the school is closed, but the district says it is doing what it can to provide support and counseling services. The public is being asked to avoid the area surrounding the incident and remain indoors until further notice. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The federal government is poised to cut tens of thousands of civil service jobs, except in one department, which it's actually looking to hire in. That is the Department of National Defense. They're looking to fill 3,000 positions by next March. Any federal public service worker in Canada or abroad can apply, and so far thousands of applications have poured in. Ottawa recently announced plans to slash 28,000 jobs in the public sector. The Prime Minister has begun the next leg of his international trip, touching down in South Africa this afternoon for the G20 summit, a visit that comes on the heels of his trip to the United Arab Emirates, where he secured a pledge of $70 billion to be invested in Canadian energy, AI, and mining. Rachel Aiello has the latest.
Over the next year, we will take significant measures to elevate our relationship.
Speaking to a crowd of Emirati and Canadian business leaders, the Prime Minister said his government is ready to start reaping the benefits of a strengthened economic and diplomatic relationship between the two countries.
On the surface, to the uninitiated, Canada and the UAE can appear as different as snow and sand. Deeply, deeply aligned. At our core, we're both trading nations.
At the Canada-UAE Business Council Summit, Mark Carney highlighted how both nations are in a position to lead the global clean energy transition and announced the start of a new agreement valued at more than $1 billion to expand critical mineral processing capacity in Canada.
This is a new chapter in our relationship, a new chapter in our partnership.
Delegations of big funders from both nations will also be exchanging visits next year. Trips made easier by Canada and the UAE confirming more direct commercial flights are coming. With the Canada-U.S. trade war waging on, the political stakes are high for Carney to deliver on diversifying Canada's economy quickly.
This is really important to AI infrastructure build out, data centers, mining projects, infrastructure, everything that Canada wants to build will need a large amount of money, and the UAE is a good starting point for that.
While here on the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister will be trying to advance trade talks with other world leaders, including India's Prime Minister. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Johannesburg.
Federal Transport Minister Steve McKinnon made an announcement on Ontario this morning promoting two initiatives aimed at boosting trade.
And investments from the Trade Diversification Corridors Fund and the Arctic Infrastructure Fund will increase the capacity of our trade and transportation infrastructure, strengthen Canada's sovereignty and presence in the Arctic, and improve Canada's ability to move imports and exports across this country and to and from the rest of the world.
The two initiatives under the oversight of Transport Canada are the $5 billion Trade Diversification Corridors Fund, as well as the $1 billion Arctic Infrastructure Fund. McKinnon says the funds will invest in infrastructure projects, strengthen trade corridors, and try to promote Canada's Arctic sovereignty. Canada Post is reporting what it's called an unprecedented loss in its third quarter. The Crown Corporation says it lost $541 million before tax, marking the largest quarterly loss in its history. Canada Post says activity and uncertainty sent customers to competitors, and that resulted in a drop in parcels revenue of approximately 40%. Ottawa is reviewing a plan submitted by Canada Post with a goal of scaling back operations and staff to get costs under control. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is warning his country faces a choice between losing its dignity or Washington's backing over a new U.S. peace proposal that endorses key Russian demands.
We will work calmly with America and all our partners. There will be a constructive search for solutions with our main partner. I will present arguments, I will persuade, I will offer alternatives, but we will definitely not give the enemy any reason to say that Ukraine does not want peace.
Washington's 28-point plan calls on Ukraine to give up territory, accept limits on its military, and renounce ambitions to join NATO. Ukrainian officials have been careful not to reject the proposal outright, but U.S. President Donald Trump suggests the country doesn't have much of a choice.
There's been criticism that this deal...
You mean he doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of...
Well, he'll have to like it, and if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said he'd received the U.S. plan, and it could be a basis of the final solution. Three sources told Reuters that Ukraine is working on a counter-proposal with the help of France, Germany, and the UK. The EU foreign policy chief says Russia has no legal right whatsoever to any concessions from the country it invaded as nightly strikes continue. Still ahead, how a Saskatoon man created an unusual premise for a new card game.
This livestock show returns Monday on your stalls and on the trade show floor at Canadian Western Agribition.
Noticed Lee just greeting you with arms wide open. Okay, we're going to take a look at what your forecast is looking like heading into the weekend. He wasn't lying when we've been singing Creed all day. Currently sitting at 1 in Regina. We did warm up to 6 degrees late this afternoon. And we're going to continue to see those temperatures tracking as we head into the weekend. Now, there is a change ahead, and that's the beginning of next week, and you'll see that in your 7-day forecast. For now, though, this is what we've been seeing over the last couple of hours. So, of course, we have had this freezing rain warning originally starting here, and now it's gradually just continuing to move as this system is moving. Freezing rain expected in this area, continuing probably for about another hour as it continues to track into Manitoba. So we should start to see that freezing rain taper off later this evening. But for southern Saskatchewan, not really having to worry about anything when it comes to precipitation. Slight chance we could see some scattered precipitation in the parkland right there heading into tomorrow morning. But by the time we get into tomorrow morning, very clear conditions. Expecting a lot of sunshine for much of the province tomorrow until we get into the evening and more of that cloud cover starts to make its way back into Saskatchewan coming from Alberta. Alberta does have some snow that we could possibly see come through parts of northern Saskatchewan, but again, southern Saskatchewan remaining quite dry when it comes to precipitation. Not expecting to see any rain, freezing rain, snow, at least not for the weekend. And heading into Sunday evening, we will start to see more cloud cover rolling in because it's not clear, it's not easy to see right now, but there will be a system, a low pressure system bringing snow. We'll see it start to clip across the southern border, but there is a very good chance we're going to start to see that system making its way up into southern Saskatchewan, primarily almost clipping through the southeast, and that does mean Regina could see some snow making its way in. Yeah, you can see little pockets of that purple in the corner there, but making the snow making its way into Regina by late Monday afternoon. Temperatures, like I said, tomorrow remaining above seasonal. We're going to continue to see those temperatures above zero for many areas as well. 4 and mainly sunny for North Battleford, 3 and a mix of sun and cloud for Saskatoon, 6 and sunny for Yorkton, 11 degrees for Maple Creek tomorrow, 8 for Swift Current and Moose Jaw in the southeast, also seeing 8 degrees as the expected high for Estevan, Weyburn, and Assiniboia, all expecting to see mainly sunny conditions. Now, for Regina, as I showed on the almanac earlier, average low usually about -12, -13. So we're going to be well above the average for our low tonight, sitting at -2. And then tomorrow, 7 degrees and nothing but sunshine expected for the day. So a great day to head out to watch some football at Mosaic Stadium for sure. By Sunday, climbing up to 8 degrees, mainly sunny. And for Monday, that's when we could expect to see that snow arrive. So during the day, could be anywhere up to about 2-3 centimeters of snow, and then heading into the evening, probably close to another centimeter. So could see up to about 4 centimeters once that system is completely cleared, leaving us with -2 as a daytime high on Monday. And then we just continue to see a little bit of a cool down there. Tuesday, -6, cloudy, mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday, and also seeing some higher wind gusts. Could see some strong wind gusts Tuesday into Wednesday with -9 on Wednesday, and on Thursday with a mix of sun and cloud before that snow is expected to return with -8 as the expected daytime high. I will be the bearer of bad news. Chances are very high this will be the last weekend with those above zero temperatures. As we saw, next week is going to be all below zero temperatures for our daytime highs.
That's okay. I mean, it's been
about
pretty good so far. And as you said, the temperature is going to be really good for the Vanier Cup in Regina. So it was great temperatures in Winnipeg for the Grey Cup.
Yes.
Great temperatures in Regina. It's hard to believe Winnipeg, Regina in November. Great temperatures for football. But
yeah, we've been very lucky, but it's about time we start to see that snow arrive.
All right. Thank you very much, Sabine.
You bet.
Well, eventually, winter will deliver that cold weather that will leave us wanting to curl up, maybe with a nice little book, maybe a card or board game. Well, one Saskatoon man has created a new game he came up with during the pandemic that's based on a bit of a more somber event. Stacey Hine explains.
I was born without a blank, but I had an extra blank.
It's a pandemic idea that's now come to life. The party game Eulogy promises to put the fun in funerals.
It puts you and your party at a funeral, and the game's going to help you create the character that you're there to mourn the loss of.
Players pick a character card, name it, and follow that character through 6 stages of life using fill-in-the-blank prompts. Then at the end, one player delivers a 3-minute eulogy. Last fall, Barassa produced produced 30 prototypes and even bought a hearse to help market the game. Recently, the first shipment of 1,500 games arrived, just as he became a father to twins.
Yeah, it was kind of like the worst timing. It was our twins had just been born, and they were in NICU for two weeks, and then we had just gotten home, and then I got an email saying, your games are about to arrive.
He says the chaos is worth it because he believes in the game's potential.
I have the most confidence in the game. I have less confidence in my ability to take it there, but the game itself I have like the most confidence in.
He estimates he and his wife have played the game about 1,000 times, and he's already thinking about a spin-off.
The title is called Till Death, and we're just going to create a wedding couple the exact same way.
Barassa is trying to get Eulogy on store shelves, but for now, it can be ordered on his website, eulogyboardgames.com. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Coming up, a look at the redshirt freshman quarterback thrust into the national spotlight for the U of S Huskies.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
Tomorrow's Vanier Cup at Mosaic Stadium between the University of Saskatchewan Huskies and University of Montreal will feature two young quarterbacks at the helm. Montreal is Pepe Gonzalez. He was the winner of the U Sports Rookie of the Year award, while the Huskies have a local redshirt freshman forced into action. Jacob Carr has more.
When the season began, Huskies quarterback Jake Farrell likely didn't think he would be starting games, let alone be at the helm in a national championship. But that's exactly the situation he finds himself in, as Farrell has been the team's starter since week 5, after the previous starter, Anton Amendrid, was diagnosed with cancer.
That's all of our brother. I mean, when that news came out, it was definitely really hard. But it gave us extra motivation, to play for him. We dedicated this season to him.
With that extra motivation, the Huskies haven't skipped a beat, with Farrell calling the shots. Now in their third Vanier Cup in the last 5 years, the team says it is truly a family.
There's true, love amongst this group. I don't throw that word around flippantly. There really is. They truly care, and they just want to play football.
Farrell, a redshirt second year for the Huskies, says his success as a starter is due in large part to the support system around him.
I credit, my teammates and my coaching staff, for all the help. I feel like, they've done an unbelievable job, and I think just me, leaning on my guys and leaning on the coaching staff and the game plan each and every week.
Now, just one night away from the biggest game of his football career, Farrell says it will be key to stay even-keeled on game day.
We know that there's going to be highs and lows, and I think, not riding those highs and lows too much. We got to play 4 quarters of football, and obviously, they have a great team over there. So I think, just we'll play our brand of football.
The national championship kicks off Saturday afternoon at 1 from Mosaic Stadium. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
As the Grey Cup celebrations died down, the Riders are moving into off-season mode, starting their off-season by making a trio of signings. The signings include Canadian receiver and former Regina Ram receiver Deshaun Mims, Canadian defensive back Gideon Adjier, and American defensive end Chico Bennett Jr. Now, Bennett played in 2 regular season games for the Riders this season after taking part in rookie minicamp for the Philadelphia Eagles. Mims had that catch this season, while Adjier did return to school in Calgary for the 2025 season. WHL, after a string of losses, the Swift Current Broncos have bounced back, winning 2 of their last 4, and tonight they head to Saskatoon to face the Blades.
Now Doyle, he skates his way, now back right side across, one-timer, and they score!
Saskatoon has won both previous meetings, including a 4-1 victory on Remembrance Day. Swift Current currently sits out of a playoff position, 4 points back of Regina for 8th in the conference. Game time 7 o'clock at the SaskTel Center in Saskatoon. Also, Pats play the second game of their American Swing versus Tri-Cities. Curling fans in Saskatchewan will be glued to TSN starting tomorrow as the Montana's Canadian curling trials get underway in Halifax. Now, there will be 2 Saskatchewan teams in the men's 8-team field. 2024 Brier runner-up team Mike McEwen from Saskatoon, and 2025 provincial champions team Ryan Kleider, also from Saskatoon. McEwen will start off against Jordan McDonald. Kleider will face Brad Gushu. Both games start at 5 o'clock Saskatchewan time. There are no Saskatchewan teams on the women's side, although Val Sweeting on Team Ireson is originally from our province. The women's first draw does go at noon Sask time on TSN. Still ahead, the Premier of BC continues to voice his displeasure with Alberta's oil pipeline proposal.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. So as we did see on the Futurecast, the tracker, that we're going to see more clear conditions heading into tomorrow. So a lot of sunshine expected and continuing to see those above zero and above seasonal temperatures. Mainly sunny for Meadow Lake and Wynyard and Hudson Bay, all expecting to get up to 4 degrees tomorrow. 3 for Melfort, Watrous, Spiritwood, Lloydminster, 5 for Kindersley, and a mix of sun and cloud, and 7 for Outlook. The closer to the southern border, a little warmer for some areas. Maple Creek 11, 8 for Assiniboia, and Leader 9 for Coronach, 7 for Carlisle, Broadview, Pilot Butte, Lumsden, 4 for Kenora, all seeing mostly sunny conditions. If we take a closer look at Cut Knife, located about 185 kilometers west of Saskatoon, warming up to 4 tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud, maybe leaning towards more mainly sunny conditions. Winds up to 30. The +4 will feel closer to about +1, and by the evening dropping to about -6 for the low, feeling like -9.
There is growing frustration in BC from the provincial government to business leaders over Alberta's push for a new oil pipeline. Alberta and Ottawa are working on a so-called memorandum of understanding on energy policy. And as CTV's Rob Buffin reports, BC's premier claims a deal could put BC's already approved projects in jeopardy.
News that talks between Ottawa and Alberta about a new oil pipeline to BC's coast are progressing and may lead to an agreement in days. Blindsided on BC Premier David Eby told CTV's Power Play Thursday.
Thoroughly both disappointed and, yes, caught off guard.
Adding to Eby's frustration, revelations from Saskatchewan's premier, he's been involved in the negotiations.
We're in those discussions as well, and very supportive of not only the removal of the emissions cap, but the opportunity to bring tankers in to that northwestern coast in British Columbia, not just for oil, but for other products as well.
I feel like I'm watching a couple tourists wearing sandals wander into the woods on the north shore of Vancouver, saying, "Don't worry about us, we know where we're going." You know, they're going to have to be rescued by a helicopter, and guess who has to send the helicopter?
Eby has consistently pointed to the lack of a proponent for a new pipeline and stressed that another pipeline would require lifting the existing oil tanker ban, potentially jeopardizing existing agreements with coastal First Nations on other energy projects, including LNG.
This is a broadside attack on an oil tanker ban that is the foundation of economic growth mapped out for the entire country.
Still, recent polls show BC residents' appetite for a bitumen pipeline have grown.
Just over half of British Columbians, about 56%, say that they could be on board with a pipeline project.
And both federal Liberals and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith have signaled a memorandum of understanding that includes easing the tanker ban is in the works.
I remain very hopeful as our negotiations continue.
The federal government has been engaged in constructive talks with the government of Alberta.
Talks that so far have not included BC or stakeholders on its coast.
Robert Buffum, CTV News.
Canadians are expected to take full advantage of Black Friday deals this year. A holiday shopping survey by Retail Council of Canada and Leger finds most people plan to spend $975 this year on the holidays. 84% of respondents say Black Friday, most important shopping day, and more than half start researching 1 to 3 weeks in advance. The survey also suggested more shoppers are returning to brick-and-mortar stores for ideas and final buys, even though 80% compare prices online before making a purchase. Retail experts say smartphones are playing an increasingly large part of the process.
We're north of 40% now in terms of holiday sales being done on mobile phones, and it allows you to sort of look quickly and compare different things. So, you know, some retailers like Amazon have special days where certain items are only available on their app. They also have Rufus, which is an AI that can help you shop. So we're seeing more Canadians buy on mobile over the last 5 to 10 years.
And 86% of respondents say they plan to shop close to home, with 84% hoping to buy Canadian. But the survey says price does remain a #1 decision driver ahead of brand, loyalty, or location. How the stocks do today? Not bad. TSX went up 254 points. The Dow Jones by 493 points. As for the Canadian dollar, it went up slightly, 0.03 of a cent to 70.96 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold down $12.05. West Texas Intermediate crude down 94 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude was down 33 cents. And gas in Regina staying the same. It's sitting at $1.32.9 per liter.
Hello there. U.S. and Canadian shares rose just under 1% today on renewed hopes for a U.S. interest rate cut next month. But America's S&P 500 index dropped 2% on the week, and Toronto was down about 0.5% as investors backed away from soaring artificial intelligence stocks and dumped cryptocurrencies. Chip seller Nvidia came out with yet more rosy growth projections, but its shares are still down 6% in the past 5 trading sessions. And finally, movie industry observers wonder if Sony Pictures risks financing a flop with its plan to create a film based on the pricey Labubu dolls. Other toy movie franchises, such as Barbie and Lego, drew on decades of familiarity and generations of fans. But Bloomberg's Jason Bailey says many previous toy-based flicks, such as Bratz, the movie in 2007, were lackluster. Meanwhile, he warns analysts are already questioning whether the mania surrounding Labubus can last. Those are your business headlines. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Coming up tonight, Happy's Place. Not Gilmore. It's another show. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, Hell's Kitchen, Boston Blue, The Big Bang Theory, E-Talk, a lot of bees. And that's it. Then, of course, national and local news.
Well, a self-portrait by Mexican artist Frida Kahlo has become the most valuable work by a female artist sold at auction.
Her surrealist painting called The Dream, The Bed, has sold for $54.7 million U.S.
Wow.
It shows the artist lying in a bed as green vines circle her body. A skeleton wired with dynamite and holding a bouquet of dried flowers lies above her. It was sold by a private collector. Hang it up in my kitchen.
Okay.
Got it. The second Wicked movie is looking to cast a spell on the weekend box office.
Immediately mad I'm not watching it. Okay, Wicked for Good is the conclusion of the musical tale adapted from the Broadway show. It reimagines the story of the witches in The Wizard of Oz, and it stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh. Deadline reports previews for the film were the best of any film so far in 2025 at $30.8 million U.S. across North America.
And this is a long film, I believe?
About 3 hours.
3 hours the film is? Wow. It's a long film.
No, it's not. It'll go by really fast.
Yeah?
I promise you.
Well, you got to get popcorn if you go.
You know what? I don't think you do.
I think you do.
No, I think you'll be so involved in the movie you won't even realize you don't have snacks.